And
Hey, let's take a minute.
I don't know if I timed that perfectly.
It's a weird thing.
Oh, I need the Christmas hat.
It's even better.
There you go. How about that?
All I have in this house is Christmas.
All right. I'm just gonna let it go out to the end because I like it. That's still one of my favorite songs. The theme.
I like
All right. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the House of Static. This is our special holiday edition of the House of Static, and we'll say holiday. Well, obviously, we're going all Christmas because that's where we're at. But I don't know if you actually picked it apart. You've got a Taoist, and then whatever you two guys are.
I'm woo woo. I don't know about you, but I'm the woo woo.
I don't know.
I
I
see.
don't believe in labels, you guys. Okay, you can't label art.
There you go.
Excuse me, that's mine. Let's not label art, but I'll share with you. I'll share with you.
All right. Well, anyway, as I said, as a Taoist, I just kind of go with it anyway, right? Christmas, cool, right on. Okay, Christmas. Sounds good.
He most definitely will not say that he's an atheist, right? You have a good story about that.
Oh God.
Who, me
I
or
don't
you?
want to be mean to anybody that's watching if you are an atheist, but if you meet someone and tell them in the first 5 minutes, then don't. Just
Well,
stop.
yeah. That's the thing. It's not all atheists, but just like any other religion, the real sort of like adamant, like activist sort of,
I don't think
what's
I've
the
ever
word?
met anyone like.
Well, the
Oh,
story is
yeah.
that I went to go get my hair cut, and I had like a new hairdresser guy because my normal hairdresser, she's making a baby inside of her stomach, and then it's going to come out of her stomach. So then she has time off. So then the new guy was like being kind of weird, but he was like, "Are you doing anything for the holidays?" And I was like, "Well, I've been working really hard on this project, so not really." And then I said, "Are you doing anything?" And he said, I said, "For Christmas." And he said, "No." I said, "Oh, do you celebrate another holiday?" And he said, "No, I'm an atheist." And I was like, "Why do you, what?" Like, it was just weird. That's why she brought it up, to have someone tell me that, like in the first 5 minutes of knowing me.
Right.
Like, his identity.
Right,
Where
exactly.
I know what I believe, and neither of you are talking about it because I don't talk about it.
Right.
So to me,
But also, some people, sometimes you just have some fun. You know what I mean? Like if I lived in Jordan, I would happily, celebrate Ramadan or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever the celebration. When in Rome, have some fun, man. Enjoy the customs. That's how I feel anyway. So I wear the stupid hat.
Right? Am I wrong though? Christmas was a pagan holiday first, where they like burned people and stuff.
Well, I mean, really, if you look, obviously Christmas itself is the celebration of Jesus' birth and all of that, but the event, the celebration of it, in order to facilitate the adoption of Christianity in the first few centuries there, when all of Paul's disciples were doing so. They were, yeah. And they would combine them with the local culture and local ceremony and local traditions so that it would be more palatable, and a lot of stuff is Irish. A lot of stuff is German, like the Christmas tree, all that stuff, Father Christmas, all that's all German stuff. But it just depends on where it kind of took hold. But I mean, they would, and the dates, I think, got moved all around too, for the same reasons, like coinciding with different holidays. I mean, they did it with not just Christmas. I mean, Halloween's like that. There's all the, All Saints Day and everything is all tied into Halloween.
Halloween a Christian holiday. What?
Well, it's not, but they put Christian holidays right next to it, and then they kind of like wrap them all in. Like All Saints Day is a Christian holiday that's like the
Yeah.
day after Halloween or
I
whatever.
never got to participate in this holiday before. What is it?
Well, it's not fun. I think it's just you go to church.
do you
I don't
do?
think I don't think it's good.
Celebrate all of the saints all at once.
Yeah, everybody gets together. It's a big saint party.
Party. It's a saint party right after the day of the dead.
Yeah. Well, we should
After
be more
everyone
clear.
rises.
That's why you don't know it, Kilo, is because saints are Catholic. That's all Catholic stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the celebration of the saints is a Catholic thing. That's one of the things that Martin Luther, rebelled against when he put his.
So that's
his
like
treatise.
one of the only Christianities that I wasn't at one point in my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We're
That's all
very
I-
Catholic on this side.
Yeah, exactly. You're like more Bible Belt. So you're more.
Yeah.
More people. That sounds great. Like spread the wealth. Kind of
Well,
like
not-
Hinduism. Like
But
spread
the Catholics, the thing is, the Catholics around here, it's like they go to church, but it's not like as serious. Maybe old school, like the old country
Mhm.
Catholics. But like you kind of just go, you do your thing, and then there's like a whole nother set to the culture than actually the religion,
Mm.
right?
Oh yeah, well yeah, 100%. We like so Alexandria's Italian. I'm
Yeah.
Irish, and I think you're
I
pretty
can't
Italian, and I'm
walk.
very Irish.
Yes.
Yeah, and so like my mom's from Ireland, so from our in our family stuff, there was barely any actual religion to it at all. We were never really all that Catholic anyway. The Irish have a very complicated relationship with their religion, and even more so than the Italians. The Italians, I've always felt it's a much more smooth connection there. Like being Catholic and Italian, you just kind of everybody eats and has a good time,
Yeah.
and you get together as a family, blah blah blah. But the Irish are more about guilt and pain and alcoholism. So it's a little more difficult when you're Irish.
I mean,
This is
we were going to tell funny stories about Christmas tonight, and mine does have to do with alcohol. So
There you
um,
go.
that
Mhm.
was a good segue for me to start us telling our funny Christmas stories. Great job, Bob.
Right on. There you
Right.
go.
I feel ashamed of telling this story, but it is the last time I drank alcohol just because I got bored of it, and it's the only funny story I could think of. So basically, the story goes: it's Christmas Eve, and then I like drank alcohol. Okay, so it's not that funny, I guess. So it's Christmas Eve, and I drank alcohol. But the funny part is, then I got all dressed up, and I told everybody to take me to go see Baby Jesus, and I was very drunk. So I was like, take me to go see Baby Jesus. Like I wanted to go to a church, but then I woke
Right.
up this morning with my jacket on and everything. So I probably did not go to see Baby Jesus.
Well, or maybe I
Did-
don't know.
don't remember.
Maybe you
Doubt it.
don't
I
remember.
highly do not think so.
Well, at least you didn't wake up in baby Jesus's manger.
That would have been the best. This
That
story
could have been.
a
And I
thousand
think
times
you would have
better.
wanted to be Jesus.
Then I would have kept drinking.
Yes.
No, but then I woke up in the morning and I was like, if I was so drunk I wanted to go see Baby Jesus, I probably never want to drink again. So Christianity plus drinking, nope, not for me.
Oh well, I don't know about
No,
nope.
I
there's
just
plenty
got
of-
bored of drinking. That time was just like, okay, now I just wake up and I am very dehydrated and this seems unfun now. That was like
Right.
5 years ago, like tomorrow or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. Tomorrow's
I'm
Christmas Eve.
So you've been sober for 5 years from alcohol?
I think it's 5. It's either 5 or 6.
So
That's amazing.
so you're funny. So I said I didn't pick up on
Yeah.
that. What you were
What?
saying was that was the last night you drank. Is that
ever.
Christmas Eve? You didn't
Ever.
say that. You should have led with that, man.
Yeah, no, but that's not the funny part. The funny part is I was very adamant, like telling people I must go see Baby Jesus.
Right.
But
I
I guess I drunkenly thought there was a real Baby Jesus that was
So
happening.
would you
Maybe.
say that Jesus led you to sobriety?
Oh, hey,
Or
well, there you
me.
go.
Oh.
Realizing if I got so drunk I actually wanted to go to a church, which is not something I would want to do sober. I was like, what other stupid things do I do when I'm drunk? So you can think of it either way.
They're really cool looking, even if you don't want to be in them. Like, I love the Gothic cathedrals and stuff.
Oh, churches? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
again, honestly, that's another Catholic thing too. Like the Catholic churches are the ones that are like St. Pete, yeah, like St. Peter's and stuff. I mean, they're
Yeah.
phenomenal,
A few years ago, me and my family were visiting my other family, and all of the family was there, right? So we were in New Mexico, and my sister from where you guys are from, like up near Maine or something, we were walking in this nice courtyard past this big church, and my family was like, "Oh, we should go visit that church sometime." And my sister, who like knows me pretty well, just looks over and like looks at the family, and she's like, "I don't think he's allowed in there." Like in front of like my grandma, like everybody, like because she knows me and she knew I would think it was funny, but nobody else thought it was funny at all. They were very upset,
I
but
could imagine.
it was great.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Well, all right.
What
So
about
are we all telling funny Christmas stories? Was that the premise? Is that
not
what you wanted?
drunk funny Christmas stories? It's just funny Christmas stories. If it involves drunk, okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
There's
Yeah.
no stipulation that you have to have that element for the story.
Well, that's good. I generally don't tell drinking stories for a couple
I don't
reasons.
either.
Well, one, because there are far too many in my case, and two, because I don't really remember most of them, and three, the ones I do remember, I don't want to. So
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. Yeah, I forgot all the fun ones,
Or were there no fun ones, Bob? Let's
No, they were fun. I had a lot of fun. I can't, you can't demonize your entire life. I mean, I had, I had more fun in the 90s than, my 20s were, they were fantastic. And, I'm very lucky to have lived the life I have. So I definitely don't want to say like everything was awful before I quit drinking. That's not true. I had a blast.
Mhm.
But it's the next day, it's the next week, it's the
Oh,
hangover, and it's the breakup, and it's the divorce, and it's the everything else, things get crazy. So, well, and not so much the divorce. The divorce had other reasons. But we're not going to go into that. Definitely not telling those stories. Anyway, but I'll tell a story. Let's see. A fun story. When we were kids, when I was a kid, I lived here in the same town that I live in. I moved away, and then I came back, and moved away and came back and stuff. But anyway, we lived just across town at my mom's house, but we didn't have a lot of money, and so Christmases were spotty, but we made them fun. They were kind of fun, and we never, and also my parents both worked, and then my parents split up. So it was like my mom worked a lot, and we just kind of worked all coming and going all the time. We all had jobs, and it wasn't a big like, dinner time, folks. So it's just not how I grew up, Anyway, so Christmas time was sort of like, that's when families that do it's dinner time, let's all they thrive at Christmas time because they got that shit down. They're like, okay, family stuff, we were terrible at it, but we loved each other. We had a good time, but the organization of it was never very solid. So one year we always got our Christmas tree like Christmas Eve, like a Christmas, the day before Christmas Eve, like today's my mom's birthday, by the way. So happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. My mom, that was the other thing. My mom always worked. She worked in retail. She worked at Kay Jewelers for years and years. And she always worked on her birthday, like every year. So it was awful. She worked like 12-hour shift every year on her birthday. So that was one thing we'd always try to do, is do a nice thing. I'd always try to have a nice like present or a dinner or something for her on her birthday when she came home.
Today's my grandma's birthday. Except
well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So anyway, but one year we just forgot. We just didn't get a tree. We didn't have a tree, and it was Christmas Eve, and you couldn't. My dad and I think my parents were, I think our parents were still together then, because my dad went out to try to get one, couldn't find a tree anywhere. So we cut one down in the backyard, and the backyard is not like where I live now. I have like a forest in my backyard, right? But our backyard was not like that. My mom's house, there's some trees, a little bit of woods, but nothing. It was not hundreds of acres of fir trees, So it was a pretty pathetic Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I mean, do you know the Charlie Brown Christmas tree?
Yes.
The Charlie Brown spell. It was on par with that, 100%. It was just a twig with like other twigs coming off. It was absolutely terrible. But the funny thing was, we just we got it in the house, put it up and everything. We did the whole thing. My dad cut it down with a steak knife or something. It was like a serrated knife that he used to cut the tree. It was this sounds terrible. It was hilarious. We all had a great time. We put this tree up, and we just literally, the family, we just laughed. We just sat around laughing at our ridiculous Christmas.
Awesome.
No, I I did not start quite then, but pretty soon after. I was 14 when I started.
That's kind of a fun story, though.
It
like,
was fun. Yeah, no, I that's what I mean. I wanted to make sure that it was clear. That was not a tragic story at all. It was fun. It was a funny, silly night, and we had a good time. So there you go.
That's awesome. I
Right.
love-
Right on. So that's my story.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
Alex.
What about you, Alex?
I don't have anything extremely deep. I just remember my cat Mittens climbing up the Christmas tree, and somehow he like jumps off, and I see him glowing, like flickering, glowing, and he swallowed the lights while they were still
Oh
plugged.
my God. That's
He was a
insane.
yeah, he was a Maine Coon cat, and
Oh,
they're
they're nuts.
yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like he had them in his mouth, like hanging out.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Good story.
You know, I have a cat named Mittens now, and
Oh,
because I have 3 cats, and one of them is named Mittens, and she is always in the Christmas tree. She's not
Yeah.
a Maine Coon
Love it.
though, but we
Go
used to
up
have
and
her.
just like,
Yeah, it's so funny.
excuse
That's
me.
an awesome story.
I
That
forgot
reminds me of
it for the
Christmas
day.
Vacation. Remember the cat eats the lights in Christmas Vacation and
Mhm.
explodes.
Forgot to put on something. Sorry, I got for Christmas. Oh, do I have something in my throat?
Santa.
Oh,
Is it a hairball?
oh, is this a boyfriend present? Is that what this is?
A gold dipped rose, a real rose dipped in gold.
Wow, look at
uh,
that.
Yeah, with a certificate.
That's fancy.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess he's a good boyfriend. I don't know.
Yeah. Good job, man. Good
Good
job.
guy.
He
I also got a
asked
very
me to
cute
open it up
boyfriend.
today.
I think Christmas.
You're-
present. Am
You're
I
a little
allowed-
muffled, dude. Your voice is a little muffled, I think.
You're muffled.
I'm
you're
not though.
Where are you coming from?
This shirt is so big, it's so weird.
Let me see.
Okay, yeah, it's just your proximity to Mike. I
I'm
guess.
just gonna sit right here.
That sounds good.
Hi, we're gonna have an intimate Christmas with Kilo.
Well, don't get mad at me. I'm trying to help you.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying.
no, not that. No. Bob, I said the other day on the phone with you, you'll know when I'm mad. Remember? When you're like,
I-
don't be mad that I'm telling you to change the guitar track. And I was like, bro, I just laid down. Never
just-
mind.
Are you the type of person that when you're mad for days because you
No.
never get mad? Because I'm like the type of person, I'm Italian. We get mad like 25 million times in a day, but it's not real mad. It's like, oh my God, why are you yelling? Because that's my normal life.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, but I haven't been mad for a long time. So let's just not fuck around and find out. I don't know. I might stay mad forever. At this point, since I haven't been mad for a long time. Well, no, Bob, I was mad at like the Ukraine war. So that
Sure.
was
Oh,
would- being mad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess me being mad turns into me making music and a record label. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right
there's
on.
that, you know,
it often propels people to create things. But side note, did anyone see the speech with President of Ukraine, his
I
address to
saw it.
Congress? And
No, I didn't watch
yeah,
it.
it was really good.
Yeah, I would like to.
And Biden together. So it's so funny because he's like standing and he's so tiny, and my dad's part Ukrainian. So, and tomorrow we're going to have traditional Ukrainian food like the pierogies and
Oh wow.
pickled like beets, and my aunt's going to come over and stuff. But it's like he's standing there, and then everyone else in Congress is like very tall around him, and he's like, oh, thank you. You know,
That's awesome. Yeah, he was a comedian before he was the president.
that makes so much sense now.
Yeah, he was an actor. He was like a famous comedic actor in
Oh,
Ukraine, and
that makes
that's how he became president. I think he played the president on television before he became the president.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, most politicians are actors, so
yeah, right. Well, Reagan was, bedtime for Bonzo, right?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
very cool.
All right. Well,
Why don't
what-
we play the card?
Yeah,
music?
Well, I was going to refer to you, Kilo, because you seem to be the master of ceremonies this evening.
I'm the master of not being able to be heard. That's all. That's all I'm good
No,
at.
we could hear you. I was just saying you were a little muffled. Maybe you could turn the volume up a little.
Now, is it Was it the YouTube fire that you were hearing that was muffling it, maybe?
No, it was just quiet. That's all. It was just quiet. I was just suggesting you might turn your mic up a little bit.
Problem. Oh, this thing's not plugged in. Don't worry. If I turn it up, it's not gonna do
Well,
it.
no, I mean, whatever mic you are using, clearly you're using a microphone or we wouldn't hear you. So I'm saying that one you could turn up a little bit.
That was a comedy skit right there. Watch out, President. We got Kilo in the house. Kilo and Bob coming on. Wah, wah.
Wait,
That's
what?
funny.
Okay, sorry.
All
Anyways,
right, what do we, so we're doing the cards? What do you got? This,
Hopefully,
we should say, if anyone is watching what we're actually doing, right, is we've
yes.
got these
Oracle.
Oracle cards.
Yes.
Got it. Or they're called Oracle cards, but these are ours. Alexandria's are special because they have rock stars as opposed to, I don't know what, spiritual leaders or whatever, right?
Oh, Bob, I can show you another deck of Oracle cards that someone gave me for Christmas. Here's that.
Oh, yes, I gave
okay.
him these love Oracle cards.
Love Oracle cards. Oh, okay. So
I have
are
an
they
idea.
always just different stuff?
Yeah, you can get different themes.
I see. Okay. Where do they come from? Is it like an ancient thing or is it just like some modern day kind of?
Yes, Bob. Absolutely. All
Well,
of
that was a
them.
this or that, and you said yes.
Exactly.
Was it this or that? You said yes. So, all right.
I don't, well, you know what? I never knew that the word gypsy was inappropriate to use until very recently in life. Like,
Well,
a year-
I think that's pretty recent that it's not okay. You know what I mean? Like, and you're right.
no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, but
Especially because that's also a very like this
well,
stereotype.
gypsies.
all
I
over.
mean, yeah, it's a general term. Like there are Irish gypsies that are called they're called travelers or tinkers, and
Right.
they're in America too, and they travel and they literally travel around and do.
Years.
They basically scam people, and then that's what they
But
do.
I guess they got known for using the tarot. Oh, okay. So they
And
are
then
known for scamming.
what
I don't
right.
even know.
Well, most people think of gypsies, right? They think of like Romas, right? The Roma migrants, so they travel around from basically Europe, but like from Italy up into
Right.
France and everything. And
Esmeralda
that's like
from the Disney movie.
right.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That would be something really good. I'm gonna look into where they originated from, but it's just like the stereotype of, oh, gypsies doing the cards.
Right.
But
These are Oracle cards. though.
yeah, but I got my first tarot cards. I bought them at a spiritual store in the East Village, like a new age spiritual store
Right.
when I was 14, and I started to read them at that time. And then, who doesn't want to have fun with them? And not everything always has to be so
Sure.
serious. So, but I have an idea. So tell me if you're down for this. We can pull the one card of our spirit guide, and before we turn it, then Kilo can pull one card for each of us, and we can see who our musical spirit guide is and what's the love message to them.
This is gonna be great because these did not come with a handbook. So
Okay,
I can
I'm-
interpret it however the fuck I want.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna say okay because I have no idea what we're doing. I don't understand that at all. But yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, because it could be like the musician with the love thing. Every musician's written a love song.
Oh, when you say Kilo pulls a card, you mean from his deck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I
Yeah.
thought like Kilo, like this is your card and then this is Kilo's card for
Oh,
you.
no,
and
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
what?
Because I got him a love oracle deck.
Right. I got you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Cool. All right. Bob, pick a card, any card.
3. The one that's on your top thumb right now. That one there. Yeah.
That's the Bob card.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to do my drum roll Tibetan throat singing.
Oh.
Okay. Kilo.
I'm gonna try to do paradiddles.
The second one, yeah, that one. Mhm. I'm gonna put this over there now because I'm not using it anyways.
Why am I doing the drum roll, by the way? You're the drummer.
Yeah.
How do you do a drum roll with one hand, bro? Come on.
Well, you got the thing going on there.
Yeah, You're very talented.
All I never could do is a drum roll. Thanks, Bob. Thanks.
Okay, all right. That's great. We'll keep going.
Okay. Now it's Kilo's time. So we'll do Bob Kilo meet like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so Bob pick out Love Oracle.
have to
Oh, I
get-
see. So,
Yeah, we're gonna pair each one.
okay. So Kilo's got to show me the cards, right?
We'll have to do that. Hold on. I have to get them out of the box. This is how you open these with one hand.
Well, we
You just
can
have to take it and be patient. Just wait.
patience. is a
Sure.
virtue.
Or
But
not.
what, so Alex, what are the,
I explained to
what
him.
is the connection? If we get the two cards, how do we read these two together? So you give me a Jimi Hendrix card, right? And then
Yeah.
Kilo gives me, I don't know, a box of chocolate. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
how does that match? Like,
That's
what
the
do we
whole
do with it?
thing. We have to
Okay,
interpret
we see
it.
how that we see, we
Yeah.
interpret it. How does that, what does it all mean?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm down with that.
We're like inspired to play a song for since it's only the three of us, you know? I don't know.
Right.
Go with
I'm
it.
cool. I'm cool. I love it.
We're just rocking and rolling because life is like a box of chocolate.
Live is like a box.
Box that I just made a mess with. Okay.
Oh, would you drop the cards?
Yeah.
Well, we
No.
don't have to do this part, dude. You
Oh, no,
got
I got it. I want
all
it.
right.
Got it. Don't worry. Okay. You got them spread out. This is how I do it.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
I cannot shuffle them and then show them to you like that. So what I do. is I
That's
make-
fine.
Mhm.
Well,
You can, when you give me a number from 1 to 10, or I'll give you a number and you just pick which card is that number.
That's on the table with the cards. We already know how to do this.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got a plan.
He and
Okay.
he and I have a vibe. So he's more of a pro than he likes
Okay.
to know.
All right.
Okay. You have to
So
tell me-
that one right there, the one you're all the way over to your left.
This is my left.
That,
Bob.
right, that card right there.
This
That
one.
card. Yep, that's the one.
And this is your card. Okay.
All
And
right.
Now you pick one for you, Kilo.
Oh, okay. Now what about you?
I want put your hand directly in the middle of the pile. Where your middle finger is, right there.
All right, cool.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
Holla holla.
good job. We did it.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
All right, now you gotta, I think Kilo's gotta pick his Alex card, right? The Rockstar card.
I did.
Yeah, I have
did?
all of them right here. Yeah.
When did that happen? Did I missed that? I picked mine and then all of a sudden we were, all right. Oh, sure,
Okay.
cool. That's funny. I completely missed that. All right.
Drum roll. This is the Bob music spirit guide. Drum roll.
And
Boom.
Jimi Hendrix. Oh, all right. Bob Marley. I'm down with
Bob
that.
Marley.
That's not the first time I've had Marley.
No, I promised they were shuffled.
One love, man. Yeah, right on. I'm
Well,
down
you
with that.
done it last week before the show started, so this is just reiterating that you really did get that card. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, hey,
I feel like you want another one.
Irene, what is it? What does it say? about it?
It says a small axe can, a small axe can fell the trollish. It doesn't say fall, but it says fell, but I think it's meant fall.
No, fell is old English kind of way to speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A
fell a tree.
small axe can fell the tallest tree. The fruits of Babylon are rotten to the core. Everything that is holy is among us here on earth.
Nice. Love that. I
Look,
love
look
everything
at me,
about that.
like-
Absolutely.
Actually, his card. This is Bob's card.
I know.
The Bob Marley card said a small. axe.
With an
I cannot
axe.
fucking
With an
No.
Are you kidding?
No way.
Swear to God.
That's pretty
That's-
wild, man.
That's
So-
really awesome.
So
So
Marley
this is
tells me
different.
that his smallest axe can fell a big tree or whatever, and then you give me an axe. That's fantastic.
Yes.
What does the axe mean?
It
Kilo, what
says,
is it?
this is what it says, breakups, separation, stop the pattern. And then it says silent treatments, abandonment. And then I'm supposed to interpret the fucking thing.
Yeah, well, literally, like none of those words are relevant in
know.
any way to my
No.
life, but
What
they
it-
are
no, what
very
it-
relevant to
What
that
it
Marley
means-
card.
It-
Oh, there you go.
Bob, we talked about your ex earlier. We talked about you breaking up because of the alcohol.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, and then
I really don't.
and it said stop the pattern, silent treatment. So that's you saying you don't want to talk about it. So that's what this card is saying.
This is not an avenue we want to go down.
No,
So
it's saying-
let's
it's
check
saying
out
that it's
Alex's
not.
card.
It's saying that it's
Wait,
not
may I
allowed.
just take a photo of
Right.
that? Yay.
I have
Okay.
no idea how you did that, Bob. Good job. Great job, actually.
Okay.
That's
One love, one love.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we have a kilo card. Kilo, drum roll. Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick. Oh, Kendrick's
I
cool.
can dig
Right on.
that. That's good.
Yeah, Kendrick's
That's all
cool,
I've
man.
done so far. Yeah, for sure.
Kendrick's awesome.
The Kendrick Lamar card.
That's
All
what.
right.
What does
He
it say about
said-
Kendrick?
Become the cure, not the symptom. Don't demand respect, command it. You can be broke without being broken. That is pretty. And he, look, if you see on his sweatshirt, he's wearing Dreamer.
Yeah,
That's-
you could take just about any Kendrick lyric and put it on that card. It would sound pretty deep. I mean,
Oh,
he's pretty badass.
It's super dope.
Definitely.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the card that
I
matches
got
it?
one that doesn't have an axe on it. Mine is ascending,
Ending.
Ending.
and mine says, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union. Okay, thank you, Kendrick. Hard.
I just realized your hat is flashing light, has flashing lights on it.
right?
I didn't notice that before. You're surrounded by lights. I didn't really notice.
That's real.
Holy
Oh my
crap.
God, that was hilarious. There's like so many moments tonight that are just like random that are hilarious to me.
All
Like,
right.
the fire in your sunglasses.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. So yeah, get the there. Where's it? Oh, there you go. Right on.
Your turn,
Awesome.
Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, what are we doing now? Oh, you got Kurt. Jeez.
Oh, Kurt Cobain. That's
Actually, we all got really cool rock stars today. I mean, that's
Oh
awesome.
yes.
Kendrick
Marley,
is not a
Kurt, and
rock
Kendrick.
star, but Kendrick is cool.
Oh, Kendrick's a rock star. I mean, rock star is a general term these
Yeah.
days. You know, what is rock? You know?
Okay,
We're
what's
all in this mess together, so we may as well make some noise. Don't become your own tribute band. You can't buy Teen Spirit. So appropriate. So appropriate for my life today. I love it.
you
I love
got?
that there's
I know.
floating bleach.
You
That's
got the
awesome.
snake.
Well, because it was their first album was Bleach. That
Mhm,
was the name of the album.
mhm.
You got the
Dookie.
snake.
Remember when Dookie came out? Everybody was like, "You see his penis." It was a thing. I'm a girl. That's what we do. We're like,
Well, you're talking about Green Day?
yeah. Oh
I
wait,
don't-
yeah. But on here, there's Dookie.
Oh no, Nevermind. You mean that was from Nevermind?
Oh.
That's the baby. Yeah, that was the that was
That
the big
makes more sense.
Nirvana album. Yeah, that's the one with Smells Like Teen Spirit. It was their second album.
Yes.
I'm
But
the
they're,
only
big,
one
they're
that
really
got-
the big one, the first one anybody knew.
Ooh, the snake.
Does it say snake or smoke?
I don't know.
Snake. Oh, well,
What does
okay.
it mean?
Looks like smoke. It
Yeah,
says
it's kind of funny.
competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder.
What?
I have no idea what.
These
what
are
that-
dark cards. This is for a
Oh,
love
I
game.
know.
Every card is like silence,
Mine
damage,
was good. Mine was good.
shame.
Mine said, preparing for union. I think that's good.
I suppose
think-
so, but there's a lot of darkness in this love game. I don't know
Why
about
did
it.
you give me
I-
the dark deck, Alex?
When I bought it, I couldn't see what the card examples were. It just said Love Oracle, and I saw that it was black, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is rock and roll. So, I mean, maybe it's for like the gothic rock couple who's like doing their
Right.
seances, and they're like, oh my
Yes.
God, what are we doing
Blood.
tonight? Or, we're making some noise.
There you go. Maybe that's what it
And then
is.
the three of us are like, Bob's like, no.
One love.
Yep.
Right on.
Exactly. Well, that was immensely dark.
There was the
That's
but
not for me. I'm the dark one here. I'm the
I
one who always gets the man in black, blah, blah, blah. and I'm the one with the not dark card. That makes no
Okay.
sense.
oh,
Well, I'm gonna pick a card for the energy of Christmas. What who's the spirit, the music spirit guide for Christmas? for everyone. This is a
I am
collective.
not gonna
Mariah
pick
Carey.
one of these depressing cards.
Maybe I'm
It,
not.
it should be Mariah Carey. If it's not Mariah Carey, I'm going to be disappointed.
But Celine Dion is my favorite.
Yeah, but Mariah owns Christmas.
I know,
She's,
I
you know,
know.
she
And the
might as
tree
well be
lighting.
Mrs. Claus.
I know the tree lighting. Okay, this is collective. So someone tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, this is all crinkadoodle. So
All right. That one.
That one.
Yep.
We said the same one.
oh, even darker, John.
Yeah.
Cage.
Everything is going down the drain. Everybody's
John
trying it
Cage?
right now.
John Cage.
John Cage, like crazy, like chance musician,
Yeah.
like experimental avant-garde
Yes.
dude. He's
Yes.
he's the spirit of Christmas. That's
Oh,
wonderful.
Lord.
For us collective, it says don't fall in love with your first idea. Surrender to chance. All great art contains
Oh,
at its
chance.
center contemplation.
Kilo, you would dig the whole concept of chance music. It's sort of, it's very avant-garde, very experimental, very kind of 80s, like, modern art kind of stuff, that John Cage was, right? And like he did, but it's all experiments with sound, and it is experiments with randomness and sound and things, you know what I mean? Like you're like to say, like, just go and it's like when you wrote a song without listening to it, you just do it from like where, putting notes on the MIDI board there. That's an
drawing-
example,
Drawing something in the MIDI, like a house or like.
right. That would be a great example of chance music, like what happens if I do something unrelated, what happens musically as a result of that, and I'm sure that John Cage would be listening to this going, Bob Smith has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And I probably don't, but
That's
But
what
that's
I
the
did
idea.
in
I
the
have
track that I just released.
where someone drew something on a page and it actually sounds good.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's what I just did in transmission.
That is right. I wasn't
That's
throwing
awesome.
her under the bus, but it was her.
What would that one? Why would there be throwing somebody under the bus?
There's a bus.
We're all a
There's
mess together.
a
Oh, that's
funny
crazy.
bus that comes
So-
with that story, but I didn't want to talk about the coming of that story. So
Okay. Well, in any case, the John Cage thing though, also he did a thing where I think it was John Cage where he had a piano, it was called a composition. He composed, it was called like 3 minutes of silence. And
Yes.
he literally walks up, sits behind the
Yeah.
piano and just sits there
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
3 minutes. And the audience just sits in silence and watches him. And then he gets up and they applaud and walk away. That's the idea. That's that sort of uber experimental chance music. It's pretty
I
cool.
love it.
how is that experimental? I can do that in my sleep.
But he did it.
Yeah, exactly. Being experimental isn't like I'm doing something no one else can do. It's doing something that no one else has thought of doing. It's experimenting. It's going places others haven't gone, So
Very cool.
yeah, it's very cool, man. Rock on. I mean, most of what we do, like King Matt Black, what he does, right? That's all very avant-garde experimental music. You know what I mean? Let's
Mhm.
see what happens, It's cool.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah,
true.
man.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, that was fun and depressing at the same fucking time.
I don't know. I think let's transmute that depressingness. We love musicians not because they're happy all the time. And this is the woo-woo person saying that. It's like, I freaking love Nirvana. I love all these people.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
That
Right.
side of the game was great.
I'm probably more
What part of the game was not great? What part was depressing? Oh, you mean the love card thing?
Yeah, my cards were like, "Rah," and I was like, what? I guess love is pain.
Love is pain.
Love is pain.
No, I can't agree with that. But I will say a cool thing that came of your card thing though, Kilo, is that wacky, crazy coincidence of the axe with the Marley thing, the Marley quote, and the axe. That was pretty groovy. That was neat. So if we just look at the pictures, the cards are great.
Mhm.
Axe and a girl floating with balloons and a snake. So
No, but if you think about what Bob said in the very beginning with the card to the artist,
oh yeah,
because the snake, think of Courtney Love. She fucking backstabbed him like a mofo. And that's
Mhm.
literally, so maybe we pulled the cards to the artist,
Oh, there you
Maybe.
go.
which
Maybe.
what was Kendrick Lamar's, the Union one? I don't know anything about his private life.
Well, Kendrick is from Compton. Yeah, he was a gang
Oh,
kid,
you're
but
right,
a real
Alex, though,
smart
because
one.
it's transcending obstacles, learning expansion, new phases, and um preparing for union. So like, I mean, obviously we know the obstacles that Kendrick Lamar went through, like growing up and shit.
Right.
Like he definitely ascended above that shit. So
Yeah. He is
I know.
his whole story is transformation, right? I mean, but I mean, he's some of them like a lot of rappers that came from like a gang life and then got out of it, right? Will be like Coolio was a drug dealer and everything, but he cleaned up and everything before he got famous. He cleaned up, he stopped doing drugs and everything, and then came out of it. Kendrick was never like that because Kendrick didn't start screwed up. Like he grew up in Compton in a poor family, in a poor, in a poor neighborhood and everything. But and his friends were gangsters and he knew that life, and his dad was involved too and everything. But he didn't go that path. I mean, that was the difference. Like he didn't he didn't go around shooting people and then go, oh, it's wrong to shoot people. His
Right.
friends were shooting people and he was writing rhymes about it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of I've written a bit about him. That's why I know a little bit about the story. I probably haven't a lot of it wrong, but that's the general flow of it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
He was the one that made the choice
Right.
to
yeah,
go down a
he's
different path.
he's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen, I've listened to a lot of his music because, like I said, for writing assignments, I've had to and I really became a fan because he's just cool as hell. And if you listen to his rhymes, he's just clearly very, very smart. He's a really very bright guy, and he makes these just really astute observations from. He's the gangster poet. He's sitting literally grew up in gangland and was writing really brilliant poetry about it. And it's great stuff. Kendrick's he deserves all of the awards that he gets, I think.
Oh
He's
yeah.
wonderful.
I think he's like one of the best hip hop artists like of all time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of old school hip hop, as you know, Kilo, and especially 80s and 90s. I mean, like that's where I come from. It's what I know a lot about. I was always a fan of it, and I write a lot about it now for this other site that I write for. And I dig it, but modern hip hop, the substance of hip hop changed after like 2000, and it became more about, in the 90s, you had even gangster rap, even NWA and everything. They were saying something. They were like, they weren't just like, fuck the police because they just wanted to rile people up. They were like, hey, this is what it's like here in our neighborhood, right? And these cops, this is what they're doing to us. And but it kind of, I think that in the 2000s and especially in the 2020s, a lot of rap has kind of gone away from the substantive lyrical stuff. And it's it's great music, but it's all about the music. It's about the beats, and it's about the flow, but not the content. You know what I mean? So it's not the lyrical stuff, but it's just about how how you rap, which is cool. Like this stuff, the Migos stuff and everything. They do some cool stuff, but lyrically, I think that a lot of modern rappers don't go that deep. But Kendrick, he's as good as the best of the best from.
I don't think a lot of people go that deep in music out today. Obviously, that's a general statement.
Right.
There are people out there, but I think
Yeah.
the accessible, like you really have to look, and you have to be a music head, and you have to be like in it. But to just, I don't know. I guess it's a lot with algorithms.
Right.
Well, like
You're right. That's a good point. Yet it's not that musicians have gotten less deep in their songwriting or their rappers have gotten less political or anything else. It's just that the ones that are not as popular now as the ones that are just rapping about going to the club. You know what I mean? And like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's the audience. It's not the musicians. It's the musicians. There were people writing, fluffy rap in the 80s and 90s and violent, but not very deep rap too. It just wasn't as popular. Public Enemy was popular.
Yeah.
Boogie Down Productions. You know what I mean? That stuff. That was the real, because that's what people were into. So it's really the audience's fault. So it's all your fault.
Yeah. I love Public Enemy.
A lot of
PE, man. Oh, I don't do it anymore because I do realize that I am a middle-aged white man, but I could rap all of Bring the Noise right now. I could.
There was
Yeah.
a great remix of Bring the Noise that I used to spin with by Bring the
Anthrax.
Noise
It was
remix.
Anthrax. Right? It was that when they did it with Anthrax there.
Yeah, probably. I couldn't
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, we need to all get turntables and just DJ together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should set up one
That's
day.
awesome. I'd
was-
mess around with it a little bit. I never like DJ'd live, but I've recorded with me scratching. You know what I mean? I've messed around with turntables doing that kind of thing.
Nice.
It's fun.
I have the Tractor S8 and I got it because you can do live performance production and in studio. So it's like multi, but it doesn't feel like real DJing, right? Like I haven't had a set of turntables in a long time, like 1200 Newmark 1200s. Had to carry those things before the clubs had everything set. I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna play the house party.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I wish I had that experience. I just got thrown into like the experience, my first show being like playing a festival before one of the headliners one night. Like, so I literally, if we talk about manifesting our realities, like I manifested that entire thing because I didn't even know how to DJ, but I would sit out on my porch and put on my headphones, listen to my favorite like trap songs or house songs or whatever, and just like act like I was on a stage because it was the third floor. So I was like
Right.
on stage, and then I was at Icon one day, and this guy who like puts on shows and stuff, and I didn't even know he did. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing my festival this summer in a few months. Do you want to play?" And I was like, "Yes." Like obviously, you're not going to say no to that one.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah.
Just assumed I knew how to DJ, I guess.
You have the energy for it. Like I would never even second guess it. I wouldn't even second guess all
I
of them,
didn't even second guess it.
different styles.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I learned how to DJ after I was booked.
After you got booked. That's excellent. That's a great story.
Yep. Well, yes, exactly. That's my DJing life. But I wish I had the time, had the time to like have to like learn the beginning things. Like some people these days are like vinyl's stupid. I wish I had learned vinyl. I use like CDJs and I use it with the sync button off so that it's like I have to line the track up and make sure it's perfect and like bring it in perfectly rather than like I can push play here and then turn the volume up.
I'm
No.
really interested in that actually, because I've never done it at all, right? But I mean, I know what you would have to do to make it work, right? Because the tempo and beats per minute and everything else. So you've got two decks.
But Bob, also you have to find the one of the song, right? So songs that were
Right.
recorded, right, don't have like the transient on the
Yeah.
one, right? So you have to find the one, you have to like lock it in place and then like make sure to like bring it in right on that beat. Like it's not.
So when do you do so when you do that? Now this is awesome. I've always wondered about this. So let's say when you say line it up on the one, you're doing it with the turntable. Like, are you actually got the headphones on and you're going, okay, there's the
I
one.
have the headphones on because like the speakers that are showing me what the crowd is hearing are so loud. I have both my headphones on usually.
Right,
And then,
right.
like, finding the one, and you can also like kind of hear it go vroom, vroom, like
Right, but you do find it with the turntable. And then once you've found it, what do? Just leave it there? Or do you have to, like, is there a button you can press to save it?
that'll save that as the one.
Okay. And then you
Talking
hit a
about
button.
Because I'm
No,
fine-
we're talking about
Yeah,
like if
vinyl
you're
is
not using like the sync button on CDJs, sync will just line it up and it'll just play it out. But if you don't have
But
the
you
one
change its
on
pitch.
correctly.
Right.
Right, exactly. But Bob, yes, and then you just like push the Q button, I guess it is. I don't know what it's called. It's above the button that plays it.
Cute.
You
Right.
push it like kind of bringing the beat in like that, like, and then like
Right.
when you want the one to come in, you push that and then you wait until, or I do it this way.
Mhm.
Then I wait until the point where I want it to come in. And like I bring the volume up on one fader and down on the other, or
Right.
whatever, right? Like however it's done. So,
Right now, what I think is amazing, right? What I think is interesting, because I like if somebody were to say to me, like, "Hey, I want you to DJ a gig for me," and I've never done it before, but I know music, right? So I would say, all right, well, I better like line up a bunch of tunes that are the same in relative keys that are the same tempo that are, you know what I mean? And obviously you don't do that. You do that on the fly with these, but you must have a library that says, okay, this is my mid-tempo stuff. This is my stuff in G. I mean, how
Well, that's
how
that's
musical do
the
you get with it?
And
right? Every DJ does it different. So I know
Right.
if people are watching this, there's at least 10 kids saying, you're dumb. You can just like go into whatever the program is and you can set where you want your one to be on what songs and like, because people will
yeah,
bring
some
you
people
what-
queue up before and like
Right,
produce
right.
it.
Right.
I never did that stuff.
But yeah, but I mean, like, what are you doing then when you're live? I mean, if you do everything ahead of time, then you're
setting where
important
your
house
one would
DJs
be
like
so you
that.
can like bring it in right on the drop. But if you're using one hand, you can't push play and bring the other fader
Right.
down.
Also the
That's
style. It's also the style because like hip hop mashup DJs are known for their authentic on the fly. Like you ever hear them say, I flip records? Like they're
Right.
literally like that's the
oh yeah.
Throwing
So,
records like
imagine
Right.
that it would be a disrespect to the culture. And that's
Yeah.
the scene because it's New York City. I grew up in that scene. I grew up
Yeah.
more around hip hop DJs, and I'm just not a hip hop DJ girl, but I
Right.
learned that style and then did the
Yeah, see, that's right. That's what I know too. Cause like if you would like nowadays, obviously, when you say DJ, people think of EDM music. But back in the day, right, it was all hip hop. That's what hip hop was, where DJing comes from. And it's that it's making beats with two turntables, real vinyl records. And you go and you're finding the beats, you know, and it is like I got two sets of headphones. You got two, you know, these guys, they weren't like decks that were built for this. It was just two turntables and two stereo systems. You had two sets of headphones. It was wild. It was wild to watch. It's
I
amazing.
remember Scratch, like when I first started, I like hit the needle and it scratched and I pretty much was crying. I was like,
Right.
and then the guy that was like there was like a group of DJs that were kind of teaching me like how to do it. And we would have a faux house party. It wasn't like a real one. It was like, okay, let's all practice, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And these guys, and I'm getting into the zone out. I'm like, this cat, they come over, they know how to do things. It's like butter. They're like, watch this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do that. You just took a scratch needle. It's like for people, it's like, here's the vinyl, here's the needle. It's going do. It's like nothing pleasant about it.
Well,
And then just take it and go with the grind.
work with it, right? And that, you know, that's like anything. It's a combination of skill, knowledge, and confidence, right? Like a lot of that is just like,
Right.
fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
oh,
And
Yeah.
then with producers, I feel like the right, because Kilo with like playing more production producers, I think that where they have fun is you think of like Den Mouse, where they'll take their
lot of
mainly pre.
EDM producers are not DJing. Like I'm
Right.
sorry, they're not.
no, they're
Like-
not. No, yeah.
But they'll
Fine,
play with the EQ a lot. They'll like play with the bass. They'll take out, mids, and they'll be like, okay.
No,
Like-
that's busy work is what that is. That's but
And they'll go like this.
yeah. I love them. Don't get me. I watch it because you were mentioned Kilo. You mentioned sitting on your porch, like with the headphones on.
That's
Like I
badass.
love it because I spend good portions of most days. I'll have some attractive person on a porch or a balcony of some sort in Los Angeles DJing. You know what I mean, on YouTube, and I like they'll go for like 4 hours, and it's just it's great, and it is just some hot girl or hot guy like dancing by a pool, and they hit a button once in a while, but it's cool music. I don't care.
When I started DJing, I didn't really know like all the stuff Alex was saying, or like I like watching Laid Back Luke's, like he has a vlog and he talks about he's one person I thought wasn't DJing, but it's because he has I realized 4 turntables and he's like working on another one while this one's playing. So then when he brings this one in, I'm like, you weren't even standing there, bro. Like, so for a long time, I didn't think he was a real DJ, but he in EDM is like one of the most actual DJs that like makes mashups live, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me. But I
It's
didn't know
hard,
that
right?
back then. So I thought it was like a pre-planned thing. So
Mhm.
every DJ is going to do it a little bit differently. Like I plan out my set according to where I'm going to play. I haven't played a ton of shows, but when I did, like I'd
Yeah.
plan out the sets and then like I would practice them over and over and over and over. That's why I could line it up, you
Yeah.
know, like, because I did it 1,000 times for the
Right.
past
Mhm.
month or two. So of course I can do it in
Mhm.
front of people,
Right,
right?
right.
But it looks good. It's a good look to be doing
Sure.
that, because I had a sound
Yeah.
guy come up to me
It's a
once
good-
at a club and be like, at the end, he was like, "Bro, I came up there and watched you when you were DJing. I didn't know it was the sound guy." He's like, and you're really DJing. And I was like, "Yes, bro, I'm really."
Yes, I really
I
DJ.
mean, but he
It's
doesn't.
an art form that people have really like
Oh,
really, I
they-
mean, that's why I don't DJ anymore, because
Right.
you used to get paid a really good amount of money to be good at something, and then all of a sudden, you know.
You don't have to
XY
be good
came
anymore.
in and it was saturated it, and you're like, okay, so you're hiring plastic, you know, whatever. Decision for another.
Well, I used to love I don't know, I mean, I'm sure some DJs still do this, but back in like back in the day in the 80s and 90s and probably later, but radio, they would do it on the radio. So you'd have like, and I used to record them. I would have like a cassette, and they were great mixes. You'd have like a DJ from the city do, you know, like basically what this turntables do in the radio station, and like doing remixes on the fly is really what he was doing, you know. So he'd like, and it'd be cool stuff. It'd be, you know, think of like, you know, alternative like rock and hip hop stuff, kind of you know. And there was a great comedian. A comedian made a joke about that one time where he was listening, and it was like somebody mix it up, Public Enemy and Elvis Costello, and it's you know, what's so funny about bass, you know, what's so bass, but it's great stuff. I used to listen to that for hours, man. I loved it. Awesome.
The DJ challenge with mashing up, and it was the hardest thing, but then once you got it, is where you would take one song's lyrical line and you have to complete it with another artist's lyrical line, and I could
Yeah,
only
that's
do
cool.
it for one. And it wasn't on vinyl when I finally was able to do it, but I
Right.
did Benny Benazi's Satisfaction with the Pussycat Dolls, like I Never Grow Up. So like you create a new song from the lyrics instead
That's
of
cool.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Done that. I actually
neat.
had a set with like
I never did that on vinyl.
not two different genres though. It was Yellow Claw and like I don't know.
You should definitely.
I don't remember their name anymore.
I'll
Maybe
be
it was.
right back. I want to try to find my first pair of DJ headphones because I have them.
That's awesome. Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah. No. See why I like her. But anyways, not just that. But it's really interesting you brought it up, Bob, because every DJ does it different. Like I think anyone who really DJs, no offense to everyone that doesn't, which is most of them, everyone does kind of think about it differently. Like I think about it as a show. Like
Yeah.
when you're in a band, you practice your set list. You have it fucking written on a piece of paper that you fucking duct tape to the stage. You already know what I'm talking about, Bob. Or in metal, you do that kind of shit. Like
Well,
you have it taped to your drum set or
Mhm.
like something, and like so you know this is the next song. So you're not looking at each other like, now what do we do? You know, so that's how I looked at music when I started DJing. So of course, like I had the flash drive, I had a USB for one turntable and a USB for the other turntable, even though they sync. If the linking isn't working, you have to have one in each, so that then you can link it to the other one if it messes up, or if it messes up, you still have the songs on this one. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was taught.
Right, that makes sense.
But like, yeah, so I would have, what I did smart was I had one for one side and one for the other with different playlists. Like I had the same playlist on both. Then this one had the left playlist and this one had the right. So technically, cheating wise, I was going to down one and start like lining it up. And
When you say playlist when you say there's a playlist on the left and playlist on the right, you mean like there's two systems always playing music, right? And you just kind of bring one in and the other?
No. I had a playlist where I would queue up the songs I wanted. So these songs that would go on this deck.
Right.
So these were songs that would go on that.
I get it. Right. So that is kind of what I was saying, but I said it wrong. But basically you have two signals all the time, right? There's always two signals, right? You've got one with one deck and then the other deck, and you're bringing them in. That's what.
Now you
Because I
can
would-
go up to
We go to
16.
the next, I would have to stop this deck when this song was playing, go to another song, and then like put it onto that deck.
Right.
then-
Well, I get, I'm not saying what I'm saying clearly, I think, but, I because you are, I get it. What you're saying, I get. Because what I'm saying is that, like, when you're talking about two decks, and when I'm talking about two signals, that's what I mean. There's a separate audio
Oh,
signal for each
They're
deck.
not both always playing.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That would be just noise, obviously. But you have two signals to work with. That's your inputs, and you can change what's going on there, and then you bring it around. And then at some point before their audio, right, before you hear those two, right, there you go. So before you hear either one of them, though, they got to be synced up to some degree so you can bring them in. And so you're choosing
And
your
so I'm
song.
hearing
Just
in
the
my
cue button.
queue, I'm hearing the one that's playing that you guys aren't hearing,
Right, exactly.
bringing it up with the fader to the
Yeah.
audio. Or
Right. So I guess
It would be
What
over
I'm-
here.
gotcha. What I'm asking right now is, does it, are you doing anything to either signal to affect the tempo before you bring, or the
I
key to bring it
I
in?
am. I am. That's why I say like it is cheating that I have them like kind of in order on each side, but it's really not, because I'm not going like 128, 128. I'll be like bringing like a 124 song in with a 132 song. Like if I go
Right.
from a house to a Borgard back to it.
Your BPMs.
But like,
Yes,
so,
Kilo is referring to beats per minute for anyone that's watching.
so you have, can you
Body
show him the turntables again, dear, please? So on one, you can have it to where like it will pitch it when it moves, or you can lock the pitch in place.
Mhm.
And then, okay, well, that is not
This is a
exactly.
hooked up one. So this is 4 decks,
Uh-huh.
but let's pretend if this was traditional, well, it's not traditional because it's not turntables, but he's
Okay.
talking about if it's like, where is it? If we do like A, B, C, D.
Mhm.
Okay, so you talk and then I'll show people.
Yes, well, this is a little different than what I was about to tell Bob, but so assuming, Bob, that like
Oh.
the
That's why.
It was upside down. That's
There
awesome.
we go, guys.
where is the BPM fader on that?
BPM. So you
Oh,
have
see,
to.
that's what I
you
wanted.
have
So that's
the
what I was
sync
asking.
button,
Right.
right here, or
Uh-huh.
on this. So on everything is symmetric. So whatever's on this side is on this side. So
Right.
you have the sync button, which is what Kilo is talking about, is that he steers
Yes.
clear from. But
Yeah.
how you can not use sync on something like this, because this is digital. They have
Mhm.
something called jog wheels, which are just like little wheels like this that this one
On-
doesn't have that. This has where is it? Right down here. This is meant for more production, like so
Mhm.
you can use this to slide where you are in the track. You can go up down here and use these knobs to like move them.
Mhm.
You can set cues in your track
Right.
and
And that's all,
sample.
and you could have all of that going on in like your left ear on your Q channel, and nobody hears it. Once you got it synced up with your other stuff, then you just whoop, and then
Yep.
you're in.
And you
That's
can
brutal.
do all of that and you could program it all in like one deck while
Mhm.
you have like,
Well, everybody's dancing
Oh.
to the other one, right?
Yeah, you can use what she just touched at the bottom, or you can just use the faders and
Right.
have
Yeah.
one
Like a
with
regular
the
mixer.
sound and bring it back. That's how I
it's
do
like,
it.
Right.
you gotta
do
nurse
it
that
one hand
motherfucker.
and do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on CDJs and on like the littler CDJ thing, like you have a BPM like fader, actually, like those faders. So if you have it in the notch in the middle, it's the BPM of the song.
Mhm.
And then if you're doing what I do, which is almost never playing them correctly,
Mhm.
ever, like you just have to notch it down and like know where it's gonna be on the
Right.
in the screen at the top on CDJs. It'll tell the BPM.
Right.
And then, but that's where I have fucked up before.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. That's
In
Yeah.
the hardest
I mean,
part.
I could
Right.
see how tempting. I mean, because obviously, none of that matters if you just go and hit the sync button and then the computer just
Correct.
says,
None of
okay,
it.
they're both
None
in the
of it.
same tempo and now, right? I mean,
That's why it's like at this point, it depends on what set. If you're doing turntables, obviously they don't have a sync button.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Doing a set,
I will make fun of anyone.
if it has this, if you have
Yeah.
certain
I would do it
sets
like
that
you,
are
Kilo. I'm saying I'm agreeing with you, but I can understand how it's tempting to just go hit the button
I've
and
never
dance around and
done
look pretty, you know?
It is, tempting, but there's something that
One
it
man
comes up, I don't remember,
Right.
because like, then you can't do like weird BPM things because like,
Right.
it'll try to match this one to that one,
Yeah.
right? It's something like that. Someone told me about that and I was like, bleh, right? Like, but like, I don't know, that's the only thing I learned that was pure, right? Because I didn't get to touch vinyls. I didn't get to do all the cool shit beforehand. So to me, that like, for instance, when I played the Icon Takeover, I was the headliner and like I was on stage and Nick, who was on our show, decided to make fun of me for drinking like a girly drink. Like I drank like, he thought like an hard cider.
Bob and I
Right.
don't drink, so you're extra cool here.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
No. So that's why I got that drink because I wasn't really gonna drink it, but the like bartender wanted to get me a drink. So I
Right.
was like, okay, whatever, give me a cider.
Right.
drink. Right, like, and Nick decided he was gonna make fun of that and be like, we need to give this man a real drink. And I was like, someone needs to turn the sync button off. Like, immediately, the whole crowd. And like, so like, that was how I feel about that.
Ooh, yeah. That was a burn.
Right. Everybody was like, oh, because I mean, you don't know 100% if you're the fans, like if the
Mhm.
guy's doing that or not. But
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I think
I'm-
it's fun to
I'm
be able to
certain.
fuck up.
I'm certain that those like the supermodels that I watch on YouTube, I guarantee that they're
Oh,
just
they're
hitting the
not
sync
gonna-
button.
That's who took my job.
Yeah, I mean, and
Actually,
trust me,
Literally.
I'm guilty of just watching the pretty girl dance and listen to cool music. I mean, because they do it, but it's very obvious. I mean, there's nothing.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not doing anything. There's just
Yeah.
music playing. And
If you're doing it for like
You know,
DJ
for
Mag
like
or
an hour.
whatever, like, they have these DJ shows like Morning DJ Mag or whatever, and it shows their hands too. And I know what they're fucking doing, which is nothing.
Yeah,
'Cause
just
I-
when they just turn a knob or something. It's like,
Or
there you
faders,
go.
there's two decks and they're using the faders that have nothing to do with the decks that are playing.
That's so funny.
Because
like-
also like the clubs, like when I was doing real gigs, I cared more. And then when you take some of the money away, you take the I remember when I started to work for the W hotels, I think I told you guys this, that when we first it was like the change. Someone brought, it was like music history for me. The manager put a sheet of a list of songs on
Mhm.
my decks and said, Tava, make sure you play all these. I was like, what? And I remember seeing the first song. It was Katy Perry's Fireworks. I'm like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
You
Like,
love
I'm
it.
Then you're just like a jukebox, then you're just,
Yeah, so then why would you care? Like, if you're not going to care about my thing, why am I going to care about your? So of course you're going to do as little work as possible, get paid as much as possible, and you're going to have fun.
Right,
It's
sure.
like, okay, and then you
Right
leave
on.
and go to a real gig, really
yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Well, and there's something to be said there for that. What's that?
Well, going up the line, if you really think about it, though, once you get to like Staples Center level, like I got to see Zed at Staples Center
Oh, I remember.
and
Yeah.
Zed and like, I don't remember who. But like, once you're at that level, you have to do pre-recorded sets. Like you have to, because you have fucking visuals going on behind you and fucking lights going off. And if you mess up like the BPM of 2 songs to where you're slowing down or speeding it up, like then your set is off to the visuals behind you,
Right.
the entire rest of the set. So it's like,
I
on
you know
that level, I understand that.
I've seen some though where I think what's his name?
Yeah,
Black
no.
Coffee. The DJ Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, like real deal DJing at a big festival, like real cool stuff, and like I said, I mean, but when you watch a lot of it, the funny thing is I've never even been to an EDM show. I mean, I just watch them on YouTube.
Oh, we're gonna have an experience.
Well, because when I was having fun going to festivals, there was no such thing as an EDM festival. It was just it was Lollapalooza. It was rock and roll shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have ever been to it, but I don't
have to go to the
really.
Red House. They're
The truth is, shows are different for me now than they used to be. I mean, I
I'm
don't
almost in the same
party.
boat as you, Bob,
So.
though. Like, I have only been to EDM things that I've played, including like club things. The only two club things I went to that I didn't play was an Icon event, so it still was part of me. The only thing I ever went to was box seats at the Staples Center with producers. So like, obviously that does not count as feeling like you're at an EDM show because they're bringing you catered food that is your like, that's when I was vegetarian. So I got to have like vegetarian burgers that they made special for me and another producer. Like, that is not an EDM show,
Right.
like
that's an experience.
And
But
it looked like I disappeared. I just had to fill my water. I was
I
actually
was like,
listening.
fuck this story, bro.
I liked your story actually.
that goes to I'll get deep with the whole like sound aspect, is that I think that
Oh yeah.
why certain groups of people associate EDM music as more superficial plastic
Mhm.
party is because I do think that there is something to the fact that when the performer has that many people in a room and they're not harnessing that energy and channeling that, and the difference between someone pressing play for a pre-made set and that they're tripping Molly behind there and just going like this and like this, and they sold all these tickets.
Yeah.
Versus someone really bringing them like they're freaking out. They're DJ is the god in that situation. It's like, oh, same.
I mean, but that's a scary feeling. I mean, I've been there where it's like I saw someone's soul leave their body out of excitement during one drop that I did, and I'm like, oh no, I hope it comes back. I'm sure she was on drugs, whatever, but like I just saw every ounce of anything that meant anything to her just go away. And I was like, well, I hope I didn't just break an entire.
No, that's an amazing impact to have on somebody.
She had to be on something because she was like chatting me up the whole time, like talking to me and my mom about music and stuff right before I got on stage. And then the guy came and got me and was like, hey, you gotta get on stage. And I was like, okay, bye, weird lady. I said it under my breath. And then she was like right in the front, like she said she would be, but then her soul left. And then I did not know where she went out. I was like, I hope that person didn't just poof into nothing. Because it was
like the Mayans, you vibrated them into some other reality.
She became a baby again and had no idea where she was or what was going on. And it was just like an old Skrillex song or something coming in off of a bingo player.
But that's also something to do with sound too, is that everything that I do is like conscious creative. You can have fun and then you could consciously create. It would make sense to me that someone's soul jumped out of their body when you dropped Skrillex.
Yeah, right.
But this is what like an old Skrillex song. That's what's funny because I came into EDM late, so I played out all songs that were like 5 years old or more, right? But to me, they're new songs. Why not? So like when I did Icon Takeover, there were these two British fellows in there, and like they were dancing around and stuff. I thought they were new Icon guys, right? But like, so I get on stage and I've been hanging out with them, and like I didn't have a shirt on, which is funny because I usually don't wear shirts except for the podcast. And like I was dancing around and stuff, and then I get on stage and they looked like super shocked. And I was like, well, that means they're not Icon people because they don't know who I am. So, and come to find out they had just like flown in from like England or somewhere there, and like just were walking by like, well, they had British accents, but I don't know exactly where they were from.
Right.
And like they were walking by and heard like EDM music and came in like the DJ before me. But what they said was they enjoyed that I played the old stuff that no one spins anymore because everyone
thought you were a throwback DJ.
I don't know. They didn't say it like that. They were like playing the songs we like because everyone looks for the new song. Like every day looks for the new fresh song. Well, those were new to me. Like I didn't give a shit. I didn't know they were old songs, but I just played what I wanted.
Right.
It's better if you're like, oh yeah, I love this.
Oh, yeah, no, I loved those
Like,
songs, so I
DJ
played
culture.
them, and people enjoyed it.
That's
You know, I've
cool.
been DJed for years, which makes me sad. But I've been DJed for years. Don't know if I really want to anymore because it seems like it'll be a waste of my time. Honestly, back then I thought that was like what I was gonna do. Then I met Bob and then met her,
There you
Alex,
go.
and it
You
was
could do
like,
whatever you want. You could
no,
become.
no. I feel like my
Well, you grew as an artist into other avenues and everything, right? So,
Mhm.
the reason we even started because I was asking my questions just because I'm curious, but I love this stuff. So like the funny thing is, I mean, you were talking about like why people don't like EDM or whatever, and the funny like if there's anybody who probably normally you would expect to not like EDM, it would be 50-year-old guitar player, you know what I mean? Who is like, that's a bunch of crap. They don't even know how to play instruments. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not like that at all. I love it. Kilo, I tell you, I listen to EDM probably more than anything else. I listen to jazz and EDM. Those are my two favorite, like,
You'd
all
be
the
a
time.
phenomenal DJ, Bob. Because
I would like it.
a lot of music.
Well, I would do it like I'm producing. I mean, I wouldn't know how to do it any other way. I would play it like I play an instrument because it wouldn't, I wouldn't be, otherwise I'd just be like listening to the radio. I'd have to like
You'd
DJ,
go crazy
you know?
with that because this is the highest powered tech opportunity thing you can get.
oh yeah.
I don't know how to use all of this yet.
Right.
yeah.
Be
I
good
would
on
love it because you could do, I mean, if you know,
plug a guitar into that.
well, if you know the musical details of your playlist, right, you could do crazy cool stuff like not just beats, right? Not just tempo, but like with keys and like and musical structure and stuff. If you,
Right.
Harmonic.
I would like learn the songs that I'm going to play. I would learn like, on guitar or piano. I'd learn them so I knew what I was playing. And then you could do cool shit, you know?
That's another thing, Bob, is people usually learn like the wheel of fifths is how people DJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
Oh yeah,
thing.
that makes sense. You go to a relative key. You go to your fifth or
That's another thing I didn't do right. I didn't do
Yeah,
that,
circle
but
of
I have a good ear, like you guys know, because I mix and master for
Mhm.
Bob and King Matt Black and stuff. And so it's like I know when things are dissonant, bro.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a fucking wheel, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, it's a circle of fifths, but
Right.
it's usually pretty common sense. You know music well enough to know what, I mean, basically it's just like know when to play, if you're on a G, then the notes that make sense after that would be D would be the fifth, right? And then, you know what I mean? And then or you could go to an E minor, you know what I mean? Like your relative minor. And every note's got, it's fifth, it's got a third, it's got a fourth, it's got a relative minor. So you just know what those are.
When you
There
do,
used to
like,
be there used to
What?
be DJs known. This is like before. This is when I was still a kid, and there were these certain areas in New York that were like very underground, international, and it wasn't young. It was there wasn't a DJ that was under 30 there. It was
Right.
like 35 to 45. Like that's just the good DJs were. So if I was in the club scene young, I was 19. So I got to go and I'm like, what? And there were certain styles of booking of guys getting booked that just did in harmonic playing.
Mhm.
And they would just play and you would
That's
go
cool.
hear their sets of how
Right.
they
And
Right.
that's like composing, you know what I mean? That's like writing music with
Yeah,
other
they
music,
were-
and that's cool.
I
That's
mean, the
what
scene reflected it. The scene reflected it, which is why I could be young. Like I wasn't allowed to be there, but because I was learning from it, right? But it wasn't like everyone tripping on drugs. That's
Right.
not what the vibe was. It was
No.
nerdy.
I was going to
and
say they're
so,
music nerds.
Yeah, music nerds with tech. And
Yeah,
like,
right. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my kind of party right there. I'd
Yeah,
like that. That's
I think
fun.
if we could have something like that mashed up with what Kilo knows, right? Like
Yeah.
that would be the new school
Yeah,
Right.
man. Right.
now.
Cool.
I wish it would be
I'll
like
share
that,
my first
but
DJ
it's like,
headphones.
yes, please.
You know
So-
what I just? Oh yeah. I just remembered, by the way, that realized that you and I have these ridiculous hats on, Kilo. I forgot all about it.
because mine is flashing, bro.
I didn't even notice they were flashing at first. I'm so oblivious. Anyway, Alex, please tell us about your headphones.
I wanted to take a photo, but you know what? It doesn't. My Instagram reels. Everyone should get recaps of our podcast.
I know you did a
Last
cool one.
week.
The black and white thing you did was really groovy. I like, and the flyer you did for the show. People
Yeah.
should know that Alex is doing all this cool stuff. you
Yeah.
know.
If they
And-
want to follow us on Instagram, all of
I know.
us,
Yeah. Do you have, you should be doing the Instagram. Do you have the Instagram? You don't
You-
have it.
You can send me the log. I don't know how to add it
Yeah.
on.
I think I can add you as the
Okay.
person to do it. Cause we never even do anything with it.
I love
so-
Instagram. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I am an Instagram girl. I try to
Right
not
on.
be, but
You are an Instagram.
I am like the
You-
embodiment
So-
of.
Hey. tell me
Headphones.
on
So
Instagram.
let me show you. Look at this wear
Oh.
and tear.
Oh, mine. Oh,
These,
yeah.
okay, these are the first. This is how you know you were, I had other DJ
Nice.
phones since then, but this
Mhm.
is, this is like the babies.
That's awesome.
That's 100% true, Bob, because the ones that I used to produce on they don't work at all now. But
Yeah.
I had to replace the like actual like ear things numerous times because when you're DJing, you're like putting them on, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off. You're not just sitting there with them on for 10 hours.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
ones I'm producing with right now are flaking off onto me, and I look like I have like
Oh.
black dandruff coming off.
And
Can
that's
you
right.
can you see these? Because these are the headphones I use for tracking, and they're the
Gotta
same.
go
Like
get mine. Hold
this-
on.
They're
can't-
Dana,
there used to be a plastic covering on. It's all gone. This isn't supposed to
Right.
be foam. It's supposed to be like
The- does this, so the reason why these are DJ headphones is because of the necks here.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
that
right.
you
on.
can go, the thing that you were talking about, the queue up, you want to
Mhm.
go like this.
Oh yeah, right on.
This needs to be able to fall so
Mhm.
that you don't hit it in your neck.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
in your
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Right.
so you want
I
to be,
like that.
because you're going like this, like 24/7. You're like, oh, do. Okay, blah, 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 blah.
That's
Not-
cool.
That bad, but
That's fun. These aren't. These are just some crappy headphones I got at Radio Shack or something. But but I was just showing you that I think I've had them for like 20 years. They're just garbage. But I use them. I just use them for when I'm
tracking,
tracking. Yeah. So I
That's
can hear the click.
yeah.
In my first pair, this is my third pair, and look, it's all completely worn off.
Detox.
These
Oh,
are-
Dr.
Oh,
Dre.
nice.
These are like Dr. Dre's.
Oh
special-
yeah, the what was his company? Beats, was it?
Like
Mhm.
when the that's
so-
breaking apart. Like someone DJs with headphones when things like that are happening because you're constantly putting them on and taking them off.
So when I first started DJing, like I studied at Berkeley, I was not raised with the type of money that typical Berkeley kids have. There was there was not really a middle ground. It was like this for the majority. It was like super wealthy, like celebrity kids to the max,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And then I would say because it wasn't a very big school, some poverty and then mostly like middle. I would say there wasn't a huge, anyways, I digress. So the point is like I saved up all my money to get the controller and the turntables and all that stuff. I taught myself without headphones.
Oh, that's crazy.
My
Wow.
first gig, I had broken headphones. I
Mhm.
walked I told Kila this. I walked into the club. It was this lounge called 33.
Mhm.
And they paid me $70 for 6 hours. And I did what Kilo did. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't know. 6
Right.
hours. And my mom and my Aunt Janie came in and saw my second gig because they were so proud of me. And I had broken headphones. They were white. I thought they were really cute for a girl. And I just put they didn't work. And I put the cord in my pocket
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
like this. And I was like,
Like me. Remember when we used to wear headphones, Bob? Well, on the podcast.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
we
Yeah,
were
we
on
did
that
the-
one, and I was like, I may as well take these off because they're not even plugged in.
I know. And we were trying to.
I would
we
wear
were-
them, and they weren't plugged into anything. I didn't have my interface yet. So I've
No.
done that on the podcast. Just wear them to pretend that you are wearing headphones.
Yeah, I think we had a guest that wore headphones, and we felt like they were looking more professional than we were, so we better put them on too. And then we started doing that for a couple episodes. But yeah, it was
oh,
pointless.
I felt with being with my plants over there. I had to go back by the equipment. I'm like, these guys, they know what they're doing.
That's
I
awesome.
need to be on their level.
We
So I'm gonna
totally have
put
no
in
idea
front
what
of
we're doing.
all of the gear that's just going to be out as if I use them all like this
Yeah.
all at once.
Yep, all at
Well,
once. That's how we-
I usually clean up a little bit before we go live, and I didn't. So you can see I do really use this crap all the time. It's a, so it's all my stuff's plugged in and hanging around. This is fun. I got this my girlfriend's daughter, it was my friend Kathy, she had this guitar. I knew it was in her basement for years. I've known her for 10 years, and there was always a guitar down in the basement, and I knew it was a Fender Squier Stratocaster. And Squier, if people don't know, Squier is this sort of the two big guitar companies from like ever are Fender and Gibson. And I mean, there are a million others, but Fender and Gibson are the granddaddies of them all. And they each have their own like kind of cheap line. They have Fender, and then there's Fender has a Fender Squier. And Squier is basically, it's the same stuff, but like made in China or with, cheaper, but anyway, that's what this is. And then Gibson has the Epiphone brand, same idea. It's like the Gibson, the Gibsons that cost $1,000, and the Epiphones cost $400, whatever. So this is anyway. I went down. I was helping Kathy out with something in her basement, and I was like, "Hey, mind if I grab that guitar?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's been there 20 years. She doesn't know how to play or whatever." So I got it out, and it's like it's brand new. I mean, it's a Squier, but it's like a nice guitar, and it's because it's been. I thought it was going to be all fucked up, because it was in a basement, but it was in a gig. It was in a gig bag in a basement for 20 years and perfectly preserved. So
Yay.
I have this really nice little Squier Stratocaster.
Whammy bars. Whammy bars are my favorite.
Yeah, it's got a whammy bar. I whammy bars are fun. I don't ever really use them because that's all they are, is fun. There's not like a creative purpose for them. Yeah, Hendrix did them for fun. I mean, he did. Yeah, there is like you could do cool stuff there. Wow, like the what's the midnight. Burn the Midnight Oil, though, his song went out, wow, 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 wow. That's all whammy bar. But mostly he just was like, making noise. But
Yes.
I was always more interested in the actual playing,
Mm-hmm. Well,
there goes the guitar.
Now it's a piece of shit, Bob. Good job.
It was
Real
nice.
rock and roll.
It was a really nice, perfect guitar, and I just smashed it. Anyway,
well, that's the point of those.
No, it's fine.
What's funny is like I played in death metal, so like you don't usually smash your instruments like rock and roll did back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
well, Jimmy did because he was high.
We paid for all of our shit, and we were like our guitar players were poor, so it's like you have a guitar.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
You're not going to break that guitar.
our one guitar player though, he has like a fuck ton, and he would build his own amps and shit. He had like an 8-string guitar, 9-string guitars. Like you really need those? No, they just look cool. No, but he does know how to use them.
Yeah.
So like
Like
breaking guitars, like rock and roll breaking guitars, I was like, why? Why are you doing it? Someone-
John Hyatt, who's like a kind of famous Americana singer-songwriter from forever. He wrote a song one time called "Perfectly Good Guitar," and that's that. Why would you want to smash a perfectly good guitar? It's kind of funny.
If it sounds like that, I don't want to hear it.
It doesn't really sound like that. I did a very bad John Hyatt impression. He's actually pretty cool.
I learned another cool thing this week. or
Okay.
maybe Alex can tell me if it was this week. I didn't actually know the song "Hurt" by Johnny Cash was a cover of.
Oh, yes. That was
Okay.
Yeah, Nine Inch Nails song. Yeah.
I thought it went the other way around. I'm dumb. I'm
Okay.
stupid. I didn't put it together. Like I know that they came out like before, and that when Johnny Cash's came out, but I just thought that was amazing. We were doing something, and I read that, and I was like, "Hey, Alex."
Yeah, it's cool. And you want to know what's also cool is the how that happened, because Johnny was making an album for the new record company called American Recordings, but it was Rick Rubin who founded Def Jam. So the white guy with the big long beard. It was him and Russell Simmons together started Def Jam Records. It basically gave birth to hip hop, right? And so anyway, Rick Rubin, after basically helping found hip hop and discover Run DMC and Beastie Boys and like almost every hip hop artist from New York in the 80s, he went and started American Recordings, and he started doing rock stuff and folk stuff and everything else. And that's so Rick Rubin, super cool guy, hooks up with Johnny Cash, the coolest guy of all time. And so Rick Rubin says, I'm going to bring you a bunch of cool songs that I think you would sound good on. And Johnny's like, all right, well, they'll give him a listen. See, so he does. And that's where, so it was Rick Rubin that said to Johnny Cash, listen to this song. It's perfect for you. And Johnny listened to it and he said, yeah, you're right. And so they did their version of it.
I like that. Even
Awesome.
though I didn't know what it was about.
I'm ready.
I listened to that song when my friend died. Like, so I don't know, it felt good to feel like someone felt pain as well. You
There
know
you
what I
go.
That's Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
Right,
for-
rather
yeah,
than
Johnny.
being alone, I was like, hey, even though I didn't know it was about like doing heroin or whatever, like it wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics. It's just like someone going through. That's the beauty of music, right?
Mhm.
Hearing his voice going through pain too made my pain not so bad.
Right, exactly. And especially when it's coming from,
Right.
Father Johnny Cash, you know what I mean? Like, you seriously,
I
he's
have him
gonna
in my
carry you.
kitchen. He looks over
Yeah.
me every day.
Yeah, he's the man. And you're right. Like, it's about, technically, literally the song about heroin addiction, something that both Trent Reznor and Johnny Cash knew
Yeah.
plenty about. But it doesn't matter that it's about that. It's about self-loathing, and it's about pain, and it's about suffering, and it's deep, heavy shit, man. It's great stuff.
I mean, I think there's a place and a time for both positive music and like Johnny Cash, right? Where like you could have played me like, my favorite like all-star song during that time, and it wasn't gonna make me feel better, right? Like if you played Smash Mouth, I would have smashed your mouth. Like it wouldn't have been like the same, but like hearing that song for some reason, because I guess maybe I felt like if I'd stayed on the phone with my friend like 1 minute longer, he wouldn't be dead. So like then you like feel bad, and then someone else is feeling bad. You're like, okay,
that's not true though, right? I mean, you can't blame yourself for.
not conversation for the podcast, Bob.
Fair
Oh,
enough. Fair enough. Right on.
Obviously, no. See, no, yes, you're right, Bob. I know that in the long run of things, like he could. This is what I think, Bob. You're the one who told me this. He could have stopped and taken a piss before he left, or whatever, right?
It could be anything. You
I
can't.
also live in the way of thinking like you're always like 10 minutes away from death at all times, technically, in the craziness of this world. Like
Mhm.
you could stop to do an extra thing for 10 minutes and survive another 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Like just because you've decided not to go like sometimes when my car won't start for no reason, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then I'm not going to die today.
Yeah.
Like I know that shit might not be real, but sometimes it's shit weird. Like one time I was going to get my haircut and my mom was going to get her haircut or something. And we got like the car wouldn't start, and then the car locked us in the car. We couldn't get the doors open. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
she had to like climb out the window to like get out to then try to jump the car. And I was just sitting there laughing because I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to be driving right now. Like you
There
never
you go.
yeah,
know.
like that.
But that's why I feel that you're right, Bob. Like he could have done something other than Bob being
Absolutely.
the last person to talk to someone and then they die in the next 10 minutes, like, and you didn't
Yeah.
even know they were going to die.
No.
It's a little weird. So you got to
That is-
listen to Johnny Cash and then everything will be okay. No, that's not how that works. But
No, but but to your point, right? I mean, there's a lot of therapeutic value to the shared grief. You know what I mean? And
Sound healing.
there
The
you go.
real
Sound
meaning
healing.
of it.
Yeah.
It's-
right. No, for real though.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I remember last year, this time we were recording an episode for the show that we hadn't aired yet. And remember, we thought that guy like killed himself in
Oh,
front
yeah.
of us.
Mhm.
Well, come to find out he didn't. He just didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We thought when we were talking about it, he had
What
killed
they
himself.
were saying, but he didn't. He didn't try to kill himself. He just ended up, I think he probably had headphones on, something. He just walked and didn't notice.
Oh, he did die though.
He died,
Oh,
but he didn't
okay.
die on
Oh, but
purpose.
it wasn't suicide.
Right. Yeah.
At all purposeful, right? So, like for instance, that guy, he could have been like 10 minutes later
Mhm.
or 2 seconds later,
Yeah.
and would have walked out in front of it. You
We're all
know?
just we're just squishy bags of bones. You know what I mean? Like like anything could happen. I mean, really,
It's a video game. We make what we want out of it,
yeah.
like
It's remarkable that
we're
we all
in a-
survive as long as we do. Honestly,
Oh,
I mean, it's
people
really
like-
remarkable.
right.
I can't believe I'm
Any
still alive.
condition should be dead.
yes,
like,
I should have been dead several times.
I've been
I'm
hit by
surprised.
cars. I've drank myself into so many stupors, and so many times I should have been dead. I mean, so many times. But I literally got hit by a car, got up and walked away.
I've
It's a true
literally
story.
been
Funny.
It's true.
No, but then the question is like, are you supposed to survive things? Like you know, like I've been on a deathbed, like literally the bed that I was supposed to die in, probably. You know, like it was not
Right.
surviving very, it wasn't, they didn't think that it was gonna go great, but it clearly did because now the
Are
world.
living and dying.
Because here you are, right on, man.
So,
But yeah, that stuff makes you just appreciate being alive even more, you know. I don't mean to be flippant when I say like, oh, we're just a squishy bag of bones. We are. That's all we are. We're just a squishy bag of bones. And so appreciate the beauty and the miracle of just walking around, breathing and talking and
I
getting
don't walk around, Bob.
hanging around, riding around, whatever you want to call it.
Rock and roll.
Breathe in the air, taking in the universe and
that
being an
will-
active part of it, you know.
I will have to say I agree with that, Bob, because after being in a deathbed and when my lung collapsed, for instance, like knowing what it's like not to be able to breathe without a giant fucking reverse vacuum cleaner in your face going like blowing air just straight into your face real hard. Like you realize that taking breaths is a great thing to do. It's fun. I like
You
it.
should write a song about that, Kilo.
How the fuck am I gonna write a song about
You
that?
did
Bob?
write a song about it. You wrote a song called "Breathe," and it's
Breathe.
coming out in 2 weeks. That was
Nice
a segue.
plug, nice
You like
plug.
that? That was a little
Hey,
a plug, a little segue
no.
into.
We have a song that's coming out
No,
today, too.
No,
Uh, No,
Like-
so we had the Flying Nun, the
Oh.
young lo-fi, the 18-year-old lo-fi artist that we signed recently.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I released the song Two Grapes
Yes.
last night.
I
And then
forgot.
a week
last
ago- but that is very low fanfare. There's not a lot of promotion going on by the artist, but the artist requested that we just keep it low key. So
Getting that a favor to someone Bob knows, don't.
no, I don't even. It doesn't have to be a secret. I'm releasing all of the stuff I did when I was 18, as I called myself the Flying Nun back
Wrong with
then,
you?
and I don't care. I don't need to be mysterious. It's fun. Anyway, so nobody's going to pay attention.
Watching anyways.
10
Yeah.
years from now, if the Flying Nun becomes famous, someone will go and dig up this video and go, it was Johnny Bob, so.
Right.
But anyway, but what we have coming out next Friday is the most recent King Matt Black song with in collaboration with Mr. Kilo House and myself.
Yes.
Our song Fluke, Flook, intentional misspelling, and everyone.
No,
Deal.
shut up, Bob. It wasn't. It was me being stupid.
Well,
And
I
when-
intentionally kept it misspelled because I liked it, because I like the way it looks. I
Down,
like that. Right. I like that it looks like the word look. That's why I kept it. Like fluke and look as one word. I think that's cool.
Since we're telling secrets, King Matt Black is my imaginary best friend. So there's-
Oh, wow. Whoa. I didn't know we were doing that. Okay. Merry Christmas. So, yes.
No, just kidding. He's not. But he's.
No,
gonna be
he's
mad
real.
now. He's gonna be mad at
He's
me now.
actually my brother.
Yeah. There you go.
No,
There you
That's
go.
how I know you guys.
No,
You
he's
can find
Alex.
him on Instagram.
Alex is King Matt Black.
Yes,
absolutely.
come
Please
and
don't.
talk to me on Instagram.
There you
No,
go.
I hate that.
All right. We should do. We're like an hour and 40 minutes in now. Do you want to do questions? You said you
Well,
want to do a
let's-
special Christmas question.
Let's talk about Breathe real fast and Fluke.
Oh,
real
yes. Right. So Fluke comes out next Friday. That is the King Matt Black song. Kilo and I doing our instrumental magic.
When
and it's-
Alex comes to LA, Fluke comes out, which is probably not a fluke.
Oh wow. That's pretty groovy. Right on. December 30th. Right on. So perfect. So that's a good day. That's an excellent day for everyone involved and fun stuff. And I'm really excited about that. And so how that song came about was when Kilo was like, I want to write a song about Ukraine. The war started. He was very upset about it. He's like, I want to write a song about Ukraine. So I did. I wrote a little piano
Oh,
song.
so
and I
now
called-
we really are telling the truth.
You
Okay.
just did. You already told
No, but I rewound it, but that's okay. I was
Okay. All right. Well, then we brought it to King Matt Black. And anyway, so I wrote the song on piano and I called it Peace. And it's a really pretty song. But Kilo said, basically, that isn't the song I want to write. We can write a peace song at the end of the war, but this is the beginning of war. It's not a happy time. And he was right. So, but the song was really cool. So we worked on it anyway. We just didn't make it a Ukraine song. And it turned into
long
this
period of
beautiful
time
thing.
we worked on it. And he had played it on like an organ and a piano, I think. And
Mhm.
I took it and put all the MIDI on a bunch of different sounds.
Yep.
And that one I actually spent a lot of time sound designing on. It's layers and layers of shit.
It's beautiful. It's
It
a
is.
beautiful song. And you know what? Also, it's one of the best bass lines I ever wrote is that song.
It's one of the
That-
best guitars I've ever played around with in a song.
Oh, the guitar's great.
Bob
too.
played guitar and he played a bunch of stuff throughout the whole song. And I took one thing,
That's
one
right.
thing again, one
Blink
phrase,
182 guitar.
and it sounded like Blink. And I put it and I said, play this again and mute it. We did.
Mhm.
So they're hearing our process now. And then what I also did was layered the whole thing you did in certain parts with like a very weird like echo effect with the wet, dry all the
Yep.
way up. So that guitar, which actually that's not what happened. I dropped it in on that track that already had effects on it.
Right.
That's what it was.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think I remember that.
That's why I tell everyone like I don't really do this shit. It just kind of happened.
Well,
Like,
that's at that time when the music we were making when we made Fluke, and we still do it, but we were like every day doing these crazy instrumentals and like going, and it was all like that. It was all like, just like I said, that's why I was saying you dig chance music because it was all chance music. It was like, I would just like throw some tracks at you and you'd be like, all right, I'm going to press some buttons and throw it back at you, So,
right.
and we've got a new experiment that we're going to get started on. that
Oh,
you-
yes.
You're waiting for me on that. I got to
100%
send you.
I am. Yeah.
All right. So I'm waiting for you on the new song and you're waiting for me on the new experiment. So we got to both take action
All I
on
had
it.
to do was turn down guitars and stuff, and I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
that song is really good. If the guitar isn't loud like that, it's a great song. I mean, it's a King Matt Black song. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. He did a great job on that one. So, so
No comment.
anyway,
My brother-
but we should do questions, right? Is that
Sure.
where? Oh, and then
Oh, wait.
and then next, and then the week after on January 6th is
Yeah.
Breathe.
And we'll talk about it again, like on the podcast when she's going to be here for the podcast, which will be exciting.
Well, that's fun, huh?
Yeah, right. And Breathe comes out and we get to experience that. That'll be really cool because Breathe is a very interesting thing to me because Breathe happened really weirdly. Bob had sent me a bunch of different random things and said, King Matt Black, do music stuff, right? It was one of those King Matt Black experiments. And I ended up getting COVID and I didn't know I had COVID. And I was like, why am I so sick? So then I worked on, when I had it, I worked on Tolder Folder Holder. And what's the other one? Oh, Hypnopump.
Hypnopompia. Right.
And I'd written those. And then I was like so sick, I was in bed for 2 days. And then when I did the swabby thing, because I was like, I can't taste or smell anything. I know what this means.
Yeah.
I got tested for the thing and then I had it. And then I immediately got out of bed because I was like, oh, that's all this is? All right. Because my brain was like, at least you know what this is. And I started Breathe like that night. Like the night
Yeah.
I found out I had it, I watched some show and then I got up and started writing it. And it's kind of
Badass.
interesting writing a song, having it sample this guy that's saying like stuff about breathing. It's like a motivational speaker. Well, you have almost died from lung problems and now you have COVID, or I don't know if we can say COVID on YouTube. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, I heard that once. Like one YouTuber was censoring it. I think it was like, I don't know, good mythical morning or something, like they won't
Right.
say it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's interesting because I wasn't thinking about it like that. That's the random thing you're talking about where it just kind of
Yeah.
falls into place. Like
Yep.
that story, if people don't hear this, they'll think I was struggling with having that and knowing I had lung problems. And so I wrote a song called Breathe and like
Yeah.
all this stuff. No, it was just
Yeah.
randomly happening.
You're having fun.
It was happenstance, but that's
Well,
when
that's his
I wrote-
motto. That's your motto.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, yes, if you have a good time, it kind of lines up. Like,
That's right, man.
I don't know. Obviously, fun is relative to everyone. Fun to me is like making sounds do weird things. And like the song isn't even in the timing is
Yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's I'd have to remember, Bree. We did a lot of stuff, but one thing when you were talking about the process, right? Like that like not doing, the process of not doing. Like that's basically that's Taoism. That's the concept of Wu Wei, which is, you know, when I always say there'll be a leaf on a stream. Wu Wei, yeah, not Wu Wu, Wu Wei, and or Wei Wu.
good.
No, it's Wu Wei. I think it's Wu Wei.
Wu Wei.
Anyway, yeah, but the idea is like right in the book of Tao, what they one of the great phrases is I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but basically he says by doing nothing, all things are done. You know what I mean? And by that means, and it doesn't mean you sit around do nothing. It means that you act without effort. You exist within the process, and you create, but you're not forcing anything. You're just being. You know,
Right.
You're in the flow, right? So by doing nothing, all things get done.
Yeah, it just kind of came out really cool, and I'm appreciative for the experience of doing that. Because
Right
I took
on.
one little thing Bob did, like
Yeah.
one
The cool little chord progression, little that.
just used that one thing to make the entire track.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I gave you like a whole song, and it wasn't very good, but there was one keyboard part that had a cool chord progression. You took that and made a tune out of it.
Only pulled that in first and played it, and then I was like, wait, I know what to do. Never even listened to the other
Never even
track.
listened to the rest of it. That's
Nope,
awesome.
Didn't have any idea, because why? Why am I gonna ruin my view of what the song could be if it already had like an image in my head?
I love
You
it.
know,
It came
no,
out great, man.
Bob
Absolutely.
doesn't know that I do this, but I do this. I just pull, sometimes I pull the whole thing in and I'll mute each, like single out each track to hear what's happening, to hear what I need to do to them. If one of them sounds good, that's what the song is gonna be.
Yeah. That's
Anyways,
awesome, man.
I digress.
Yeah, that was a good digression. How about that? Oh, do we want to do questions real quick? I know you would mention a Christmas theme, right?
We only do one round, only because it's
One
a long day in the city. I'm a little.
Oh yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock, so we'll do one question around the bend.
Okay.
So, what do
I'm not
you
going
had?
through it.
No,
No.
but you said you basically you just want us to ask a Christmas related question. Is that the
Or
idea?
Christmas, or yeah, why not? Something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about or just we'll say holiday related. How about that? Right?
Well, holiday relating to this time of the year, not like 4th of July. That won't count.
Okay, well that's fair.
Fire in your glasses.
Okay. What's that?
He had fire in his glasses, so it made
Oh,
me.
the fire in the glass.
Fire.
Yeah, look at that. That's awesome.
Fire.
All right. Have you ever spent Christmas away from your family?
Mm-mm,
No.
not actually.
No.
Flew out
Wow.
here. No. Yeah, no, they flew out here during like when they didn't live out here, which was very nice of them. Because remember, we talked last week about my favorite Christmas,
Mhm.
which was when they flew out here. It's Star Wars Christmas. That was
Yeah.
like fucking best. It was so cool. Okay.
That's
So
awesome.
my answer is also no.
Yeah.
I spend holidays away from them, Thanksgiving, this and that.
Right,
but
but not
not-
Christmas. Okay. Well, not a very exciting round of questions. I'll answer though, because I have. When I was 21 years old, I moved to Florida and lived in Orlando for a year, and I worked at Disney World, and I just kind of basically caused trouble. And when I was there, I moved with my buddy Matto. Was my drummer and my best friend, and we moved to Florida and lived there for a year. And I was away from my family. It was tough. That was because we moved there in November.
Yeah.
And so it was only a month after, and I was 1,500 miles away from home with no money and, just pathetic and drunk. And, so it was sad. I ended up talking to my buddy, Todd. So I grew up, my two best friends growing up are still like really, they're two of my best friends still. And the guy that plays bass with me, that you've seen me, seen like videos of me playing on live or whatever. The bass player is my buddy, Todd. He's my best friend too. And he, anyway, and I've known him since I was 5 years old. So anyway, so I was home, I was in Florida, and I was drunk dialing everybody and not getting anybody on the phone.
Yeah.
And I called Todd's house, and he didn't, but his dad did. His dad, George, who was a very, very nice man. And I've always liked it. I mean, he's nice to me. He likes me too. So, and I don't remember the conversation because I was very drunk and 21 years old, and it was over 30 years ago. But I do know that he made me feel better, and that was nice.
That's good.
So there you go.
Okay, so we, Alex, do you have a question?
I'm gonna politely pass.
How are you gonna pass on the question game? Okay, I will think of a
I just
Just did.
simple.
And we just witnessed it in action.
Um,
I did a sync button.
well, shit, I don't know. If you could relive one Christmas of your lifetime, which one would it be?
I
I don't
wouldn't.
really care about holidays.
Well, I wouldn't
No,
relive the
like,
past.
you wouldn't
All
I
right,
have
would-
people out there.
You wouldn't have to replace one. You can still have this one. Just like
just to
what?
go back to it, just to
Yeah.
go back and experience it again. It could be any Christmas before 2017. My dad died. So anytime before my dad died.
Very
Oh.
cool.
That would,
So that's so sweet. I like that.
What about you, Al?
I guess when I was a kid before I realized what the world is all about, because I just see how, like, I definitely do it for the family and for camaraderie and friends, but like in the city today, it's like, I don't want to spend 300% markup in it. Like, I just know too much about how capitalism works and why we do it. And, so if people could have quality time, like what we're doing right now, and it could go back to that kind of thing, I would love it. But it's most of the time, what gifts are we buying?
yeah, right on.
So I want to be a kid, like 5.
All right. Good
I don't know
answer.
why I asked a question I don't have a good answer to. Because I can think of like a lot of them.
One love, man.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of them and be like, I would go back there and do that. That'd be cool to see that or give that gift again, because I'm like the person that likes giving gifts. I enjoy giving gifts. I assume that this would be the one I would go back to though, because it's been so different this year. I have you guys, like I've done Christmas very different. I just did it different. So in the future, if I ask this question, it would be this one, because it's been such more of an experience than just like you get gifts and I get gifts and
Right.
stuff. So I guess my answer is this one.
Well,
which
that's a great answer, Kilo. That's the best answer. Fantastic.
okay. Good.
Rock on, man.
All right.
By the
Well,
way,
And-
where's your Christmas tree? It
It's-
used to be in the corner over there.
it
Oh yeah,
didn't
your palm tree. Where'd it go?
like it in here. It was being angry and brown. So I decided it could go somewhere else and not die.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'd like to end the show with by rapping Bring the Noise by Public Enemy. So
Yes.
hello, can you go? Death Row, what a brother. No, back again. It's the incredible, the rhyme animal, the invincible, the Public Enemy #1. 5-0 said freeze, and I got numb. Can I tell them that I never really had a gun, but it's the wax that's a human annex fun. Now they got me in a cell because the brother like me said, well, Farrakhan's a prophet that I think you ought to listen to. What he could say to you. What you ought to do is follow for now. Power to the people say. There you go. I'll stop there. There you go. Public
Let's
Enemy. So
There
in case-
Sure.
there you go.
everybody.
That's badass.
So nobody can say that the weird old man doesn't know hip hop.
You're not old. That's weird.
Okay, everybody, follow us on Instagram, follow us on whatever the fuck new thing there is out there now. Good
You know
job.
what? Know what? I'm gonna play while we exit here. Hold. Give me.
How can you play and exit at the same time, Bob?
No, I'm gonna play an
I want to
outro.
just say it's the sync button.
This is gonna be our outro here. It's fun. It's fun. All right. All
You're
right.
fun.
I am.
You're
All
fun.
right.
You're fun.
So hold on a second. I want to do this right. Just give me a second. No one's actually pressuring me,
I
are they?
just want this fucking hat off my head because, dude, it has the cord like all the way into the front. That you turn it on back here, and then it has like the wires coming here, so it's very tight. I think I've lost a bunch more brain cells, and they're right up here right now. Oh yeah. Oh shit. That's me. I did.
All right, everybody. Am I sharing the audio? I am, right? Can you hear it?
Yes, sir.
This is my interpretation of Christmas.
Yes.
All right. I like that. And this has been the first official Christmas episode of the House of Static. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa.
Hey.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. I guess I'll fade it out. And then we go.
Come on, DJ.
Good night, everybody.
Bob.
What's that?
Hey, Bob. Your face.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. I'm going to hang up now.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.